Alright everybody, this is a quick video on how to add demographics to your NIRS data. I typically start all my programs with, or all my scripts with clear all and close all, just to clear the workspace up, close any windows you might have. It helps you kind of quickly debug some stuff too if you're consistently running it over and over and over. So beyond that, if you're not familiar with that, that's very useful. The next line, we're actually going to select our data folder. This UI get directory is going to give us this wonderful pop-up here, which I'll show you as I run these 3 lines. You can press F9 and it'll run this. So you hit, I'm going to pull up this group subject folder that I have prepared. What I have is a control and pathology folder within it, and within that I have subjects 1 through 7, and if I go back, I have subjects 1 through 6. Some of these subjects actually don't have data folders in them, so we're not going to get all of them. But we'll get the majority of them. So I'll go ahead and open it, and we create our directory. So that UI get directory just gives you that pop-up there. Next, I'm going to actually have to load my data. And you'll see a warning saying some of them are not loaded, which we're not going to worry about. Once these come in, and just to give you a little bit of insight, we're using the load directory function using the root directory. I've skipped a lot of optional input. And I've just moved on to folder hierarchy, which is basically going to say in that folder that I used, I had group, which was control and pathology, and then within that I had subjects. It's going to immediately name the groups by control and pathology because of the folder names, and it's going to name the subjects whatever the subject folder names were. So there's going to actually be my demographics to begin with. The next step I'm going to do is actually find how many subjects I have. So all I'm doing is finding the size of raw and it's basically the number of rows. So within that you have 10 by 1 data. You can open it up. You have, there they are. And then beyond that, there's actually going to be some preemptive working if you did not do this to begin with. We're going to have to create a duplicate table, and we're going to add new demographics to it. In order to link the 2 tables, I have to have a common ID. And in this case, I'm going to use the ID of subject. The problem is, in control and pathology, I had subjects 1 through 7 and 1 through 6. So there's duplicate subjects 1 and duplicate subjects 2, etc. So that's going to be problematic. What I'm going to do is then create unique subject names. And all I'm going to do is do subjects 1 through 10 in our case. So I go from 1 to subject number, which I just found out was 10, and you call the data and you find the index. So the index is going to be the subject number. So the first index is going to be subject 1, second index subject 2, and you go up through subject 10. Then you can say .demographics, and you're looking for the subject demographic. Then I'm going to name it, and it's going to be sub, which is the first part of the subject, and then index number. It'll be 1 through 10. So we'll go ahead and run that, and just to show you, I can pull up the data and go to subject 10. I happen to know subject 10's name is actually subject 5. So just to start, we'll see if that changes. So go ahead and run that, hit run. We can open it up, and actually I'll just call it here in this case. We can go raw 10 .demographics, and we'll do actually we can just do all, and there we go, subject 10. Okay, now we're actually going to do the function call to add demographics in. It's a little bit of code, but don't be too nervous because a lot of it is just very simple lists that you'd already have. Wild guess that they'd be handwritten. When the subject comes in, you'll get the general demographic information from them. In this case, I've made some random values. Okay, so just like any function call, you create a job, and you go to NIRS folder, in this case, NIRS folder, right there, .modules, right there, and where was I? AddDemographics, which is right there. So that's the name of the function. There's no input. It's my very first job. I've created it there. And just to get a reminder of what demographics I'm working with, I'm looking at subjects 1's demographic keys, which are name, age, gender, contact information, etc. You see group and subject at the end. Okay, so next I'm going to build my new table. And my new table is going to have, it has to have subject because I have to tie the tables together somehow. It could be ID or unique ID or something like that. I'm going to use subject. What I'm also going to have, I gave you some insight. If you want to pause it, you can look at these. These are other things you could add in if you want to add in different types of stuff. This is an alternative to how to do the subject index, which is kind of what we did here actually. I'm going to do it this way. I think it's cleaner that way. Then I have to concatenate it. So let me go ahead and run this first, and you'll see what we get. Okay, subject is now a cell, and it needs to be a cell because we're actually going to be adding this into my list in this case. So we have subjects 1 through 10. Well, the only problem is I actually want it to be a single column. So what I'm going to do here is that. Okay, and now it's 10 by 1. That's what I want. Perfect. So you're basically creating these lists. Group I can actually skip because I already have it. So I'm going to basically comment that out. Age, I'm going to create a random variable 21 and 65. I feel like that's a fairly common age group. And where are we? Age right there. There we go. 32, 35, 26. And again, it's going to be a column variable and the same number of groups there. Gender, we actually already have a gender, but in this case, I'm going to do a random. I'm going to guess that I wrote it on paper. No, I don't have it actually loaded in. Handedness, and again, I did 0 and 1 for gender instead of male or female, but you could do male or female if you wanted to. Handedness, I have left and right, again 0 and 1, and it's random numbers in this case. To give you an understanding, this is a random integer between 0 and 1, and it's going to be, the shape of it is the subject number, which is 10 by 1, so 10 rows, 1 column. Okay, next, I'm going to create a table. I'm calling it my test table in this case. So table, the input arrays, I'll say, are going to be group, subject, age, gender, and handedness. So let me go ahead and run that. And I actually do have to do group. Oh no, I don't have to do group. So let me go ahead and get group out. I already have group. Okay, so let me go ahead and run it. There we go. If I pull up test table, I have subject, age, gender, and handedness. You see subjects 1 through 10, age, gender, handedness. Okay, wonderful. Next, within the variable, you have a demo table. The demo table is actually going to be the table I'm going to put in. So we've created that. That was test table. So let me go ahead and run that. There we go. If we go into J now, you'll see we have a 10 by 4 table for demo table. That's what we just created. The variable to match. This is going to say how I'm going to tie these two together, and I'm going to do subject. So we go there and allow missing. This is going to be whether or not you have missing data in this. You can, if some groups don't have gender or some groups have handedness, you can allow it to be not a number or an empty cell, but it could get potentially tricky down the road. So I'm going to set it to false, and I don't have any missing data, so great. And then now I'm going to go ahead and run it, and I'm going to save it as an output variable. So in this case, if you were doing a longer pipeline, you could just run it and then take the output, put it in the input of the next one, but I'm going to go ahead and get some output here. And now, if I pull it up, I can go to one of my guys here, go to demographics, I can see my keys, and now I have handedness, I have age and gender. Let me see if I actually have the info. So now I can say output, and let me go to subject 1 dot demographics, and we'll run it. Now I'm John, my age is 32, which is actually soon to be 32, but pretty close. Randomly got it close. Gender is going to be 1. In this case, I'll say 1 is male, but of course you would have labeled that prior. I have control group, subject 1, and my handedness is 1. So we'll call it right-handed in this case. So that's actually how you add these in. Hopefully this could come of use. You can actually utilize this down the road with the demographics, because now you can run a statistical test on handedness, on age, on gender, if that's what you're interested in. And that would be done in the GLM at the end, which I think I have a video on. Anyway, I hope this was helpful, and if you do have any questions or desire any particular function descriptions, please email me. I believe I actually have my email on my YouTube account, or just send me a message on YouTube or a comment on YouTube. Anyway, thank you guys. I hope this was helpful.